Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Neha Bhalla. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So our company is licensed, regulated and authorized to give you authentic information for the Canadian immigration purpose. So yes, we talk a lot about Canadian immigration, everything related to, all kind of like temporary visas, super visa, your permanent residency, citizenship application. So all such kind of immigration related applications, everything related to Canada. So you can go ahead and follow our channel if you are looking for an authentic, true, honest source for Canadian immigration. So yes, our firm, Sands Global Immigration, we operate from Mississauga, Ontario in Canada. So yes, today I have some important, exciting news to share with you, which is about the Canada's family reunification efforts, which I know many of you will be interested in. Why? Especially those, who have applied for the spousal sponsorship of their spouses in an outland way, because spousal sponsorship is something which is either inland or outland. In inland, there is no confusion. Everyone knows that yes, when you are sponsoring your spouse inland, you have the option that they can apply for a work permit. But there was still a confusion about the outland application. So if you are sponsoring a spouse who is residing outside Canada. So watch this video till end to clear your doubts regarding when you are sponsoring your spouse outside Canada, whether you can apply for their work permit or not, and if yes, then which is the right time to apply for their work permit. So yes, IRCC has introduced a new measure by which you can bring your family members into Canada now, especially in an outland application. So let's dive into the video right now. So as you know, family reunification is a cornerstone for the Canadian immigration for the IRCC, which is one of the most important things, which is their objective, that is the family reunification, that is to, reunite the families together. In the past, what used to happen was that the open work permit was eligible for only those people like who were already there inside Canada. It was available for the students. It's still available, like you studied in Canada, then you can apply for a postgraduate work permit. And also work permits, open work permits especially, was allowed for the spousal sponsorship cases. So if your spouses resided with you inside Canada at the same address, at the same residential address, then in case of inland applications, after you filed the application, you received the AOR and then you were eligible to apply for the open work permit for your spouses. And in the past, this facility was not available if you sponsored your spouse who is residing outside Canada. So suppose you are sponsoring your spouse and your spouse resides in India, right? So you started the Outland spousal sponsorship process. While the process is an application, you have the facility, you could have applied for visit visa and you could call your spouse and visit visa. But there was no such facility that when your spouse arises, they can apply for a work permit. That was not allowed earlier. So now new measures have been introduced by IRCC, making it more simpler to reunite families in such situations. So these measures have been introduced for the family members basically. So family member, like you are sponsoring your family that is outside of Canada. So these measures are eligible for family members. But now the question is, who falls under the category of family members? Who are eligible under that family member term? So family members here means that you can include under the family member your spouse, and also you can include your common law partner, your conjugal partner, and also your dependent child who is over the 18 years of age. So yes, some people have confusion that dependent child as per the immigration of Canada means 18 or below, or does it mean 22 or below? So as per the Canadian immigration, a dependent child is someone who is 22 and below. So an open work permit can be applied. A measure has been introduced where your dependent child who is 18 plus can also apply for an open work permit if you are sponsoring them. Now let's dive into the exact measure, exact policy which have been, come out by the IRCC. Talking about what is the eligibility, who can apply for open work permit in case of outland spousal sponsorship. Let's come to the point. So first of all, there are two important conditions that should be met for you to be eligible to apply this work permit, right? So the first condition is that you should be here inside Canada on a valid status or a valid maintained status. So I'll give you an example for this. Suppose Mr. A applies for an Outland spousal sponsorship for his wife, Mrs. A, right? Now Mrs. A's spousal sponsorship is in process. It's the Outland, it's in process. Now she cannot apply the work permit right now. So for that provision, she first has to be inside Canada. So now Mr. A will, or the applicant Mrs. A will apply for her visitor visa. So once the visitor visa gets approved, she can come to Canada. So once she is inside Canada, she's on a valid status. So even though she's on a visitor status or on a maintained status, then and your spousal sponsorship application AOR has been received, that is the acknowledgement of receipt, then you can apply work permit. Yes, there is also one more important criteria, that is that your spouse now should be residing with you at the same address. Yes, that is also one of the important criteria. Suppose your wife is in a different province, in a different address, and you are in a different province on a different address, right? Then you will not be eligible, because it's an important criteria that you should be residing together inside Canada. You should show some proofs that you have the same residential address. Then you will be eligible to apply for the open work permit. So now let me show you the exact criteria. As you can see here on the screen, the first one says that you should have submitted the application in either of the class. That is either the inland spousal sponsorship or the outland spousal sponsorship. So in either of the class, you should have submitted the PR application. So the second is that work permit requested should be for a duration of less than 2 years. So because generally PR application doesn't take that long, like 2 years. So it generally comes within like 12 to 14 or 16 months. So the maximum tenure you request in your application must be less than 2 years, I would say, not more than that. And the third criteria, as you can see, is residing together, which I told you earlier also, that you should be residing at the same address as your spouse. Now you can also see the criteria for the dependent child. So suppose you are sponsoring your spouse and you have a child also who is accompanying with the spouse, and the child is 18 plus but less than 22. So this is the criteria, the same that the child should have been already declared in the spousal sponsorship application, in the PR application, that he is accompanying the main applicant, right? Then again, the work permit requested should not be more than 2 years. This is the max 2 years that should have been requested. And the applicant, the dependent child, should have a legal status inside Canada at the time of the work permit application. Then the child is also eligible to apply for an open work permit. So I hope now that these doubts are now clear, and now you very well know that now, as per the measures by IRCC, even in case of outland spousal sponsorship, yes, outland spousal sponsorship, you can get your spouse here inside Canada on a visit visa, have their status maintained, and on the maintained status, on a legal temporary status, they can also apply for a work permit, yes, after you have received the acknowledgement of receipt, same as in the case of inland. So congratulations to all those people who were thinking to bring their spouse. Yes, now they are eligible. So I really hope my video was helpful to you, and if you like the content of the video, the information was helpful for you, so definitely go ahead, like the video, subscribe my channel, and yes, do share it with your friends and relatives. And also, we regularly come up with all the latest IRCC updates, anything related to Canadian immigration. So if you want to stay updated, don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.